Hey there, Dan here. I just got back from the doctor's and I just bought a new hand. You may be wondering why, and that's because I accidentally cut it off.
Ah!
I paid a few extra dollars so I could get the Switch 2 edition of my hand. This kind of looks the same, just a little bit clearer. Around the first time they announced the Switch 2, they also said certain games would be getting Switch 2 editions. And people were thinking, okay, do I have to pay $10 for every single game? Because Breath of the Wild, you had to pay $10 for the upgrades, but then you got more in-app stuff in like the Nintendo app. So then people were thinking, okay, so is it free or is it not? But then games like Super Mario Odyssey were getting free updates. Those people were thinking, okay, it's free when it just makes the FPS and the quality better, but when it adds stuff like apps or in-game stuff, then it costs more money. But those people were very wrong. It seems that Switch 2 editions are just Nintendo's way of making even more money, which Nintendo likes to make money. I mean, lots of companies do. And Sony does the same thing when it comes to upgrades. They do with the PS5, and it's just the way it goes. But with games like Pokemon Legends ZA, it has a Switch 2 edition, and it costs $10 more. But it doesn't make sense why it costs $10 when it only just makes the quality look better. Or Nintendo, when they released Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 for the Switch, it was $70, and they added like you got a free update if you played on the Switch. And obviously, it was just them implementing the extra $10, one, because they wanted more money, and they could make more money off people who just had the Switch 1 edition, and then two, the people who didn't want to pay the extra $10 for the upgrades would still have to pay the $10 just to get both games. After me saying everything about the Switch 2 editions, it makes you wonder, is the difference just it being at 4K and sometimes 60 FPS? Most of the time it is. Some games don't even get Switch 2 editions or upgrade packs when they have a Switch edition. When Sonic X Shadow Generations first came out on the Switch 2, you just had to buy the game again. So they've been making double the money they made off the same person if they want to play the Switch 2 edition with the enhanced graphics. So when you already paid $450 just for the console, then you have to pay $10 more for enhanced graphics for the games you already own, which is preposterous because why would I do that if I bought the console for the graphics and then have to pay even more money? If I wanted the same graphics and the same frame rate, I would have just kept my old Switch and then just played on there. But I guess some Switch 2 editions of games do offer more than the original Switch game had. With the Legend of Zelda games that were on the Switch, they did have some in-app stuff, but it was very useless, to me at least. The only thing that I actually used was the amiibo tracker. And I'm not saying people don't use the GPS in the game or the story lines in the game where it has Zelda's like diaries notes or whatever, but that's just not something me, who's casually playing the game, would care about. I just want the enhanced graphics. And I got the Switch 2 around day one, and I played Breath of the Wild around when I first got the Switch 2. And I'm gonna tell you that I used the app like once and never used it ever again. And I looked at the amiibo thing, and that was the only thing I cared about. And I'm not saying that the app is useless. People can use it for whatever needs and stuff it gives to people. But if you're using it to track amiibo, there are tons and tons of free apps on the App Store or the Play Store that you just tap the amiibo and it logs in like a catalog. Okay, you have this, and this. And you can use all the amiibos. It's not just Legend of Zelda amiibos. It can be Animal Crossing. It can be just Super Smash Bros. It can be all the amiibos for free that you can track them. So it's just useless for the app to have that amiibo tracker. It's like, what am I doing? Like, why do I care? like I said before, Nintendo isn't the only company doing these things. When the PS5 first released, there were PS4 games, which were 60, and there were PS5 games, which were 70. So, although Nintendo isn't doing this, it doesn't mean that companies can just do this and make people pay even more money when they just bought their new console. And as the years have gone by, games have just gotten more and more expensive, and it's really annoying to the consumer. Gaming used to be a hobby. It used to just be, oh, hey, I'm gonna spend a little bit on this, and I can play some games I really want to play. But then now you guys spend $450 for a console, which is a lot of money. Like, that is a chunk of money for a console. Then you have to pay $10 more if you already own the games. But let's say you didn't. $70 for one game, or maybe even $80 for games like Mario Kart World. I mean, although the enhanced graphics are nice, and 4K 60 looks great on the older Switch games that originally didn't have them because they're running at 1080p at 30 FPS. It's just, why does it have to be so expensive for a patch, essentially? Because the games are just locked. So, I mean, if I'm playing a game like Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, that could probably run at 4K 60 on the Switch 2, but it's locked at 1080p and 30 FPS because it was designed for the original Switch. So all they have to do is just put an update patch and then, oh, okay, it's not locked anymore, it's 4K 60. So why am I paying this much money for essentially a patch? And I really just do hope that as the years go by, the $10 price tag for the enhancements isn't just graphics and FPS. I hope that actually adds stuff to the game. And it's just like with Animal Crossing, it's only $5, and you get like this microphone thing, and it's not really useful, but at least you get something. So it's like a mini DLC and stuff. So that's really cool. Some games, like Super Mario Odyssey, as I said before, have free Switch 2 editions, which is nice when you pay tons of money for the console, and then you get a free upgrade pack for the game. But main issues of the Switch 2 upgrade packs is the companies exploiting it. Some companies like Sega will purposely not release upgrade packs for the games that they had previously on the original Switch. So that way people will have to buy the game again if they want to play with the enhanced graphics. So if you already had Sonic X Shadow Generations on the Switch and you paid the $50 and you didn't really play it that much, graphics didn't look too good, then you bought the Switch 2, like, hey, I want to play Sonic X Shadow Generations with the enhanced graphics. And you go on the eShop, look, see if there's an upgrade pack, and you can't buy an upgrade pack. You have to buy the Switch 2 edition again, and they just use the Switch 2 edition as a ploy to make even more money off you. It's exploitative how they just re-release the same game, not even like make it different, just, make the graphics better, and then manipulate the buyers into buying something again when they don't really want to. And I'm not saying people don't have a choice not to buy it, but if you really like the Sonic games and want to play them in a better quality, you have to cough up $50 again. And it might be difficult for you if you don't have a ton of money or just don't even have a job in general. So I think it's cool when they add new stuff into the game for $5 or $10. That's nice, I guess. It's like a mini DLC. You get the enhanced graphics, you get a couple other extra bits and doodads, and it's whatever. But overall, I would have to say is that when you're buying the Switch 2, you have to know what you're getting into, and that you will have to pay more money for the better graphics. And that's just the way it has to be. It's not the best thing in the world, but it's just something we will all have to deal with if you have the Switch 2. Or maybe even a PS5, or I don't think Xbox does it either, but that's just what you have to deal with. And you don't have to pay the $10. You absolutely shouldn't if you don't want to. I'm not saying that it's okay that Nintendo's doing this, but it's just, what are you gonna do? I hope that over the years the Switch 2 will be around, Nintendo will slowly stop using the Switch 2 edition or upgrade packs as a way to make even more money. But to be honest, I think that they will keep using it and using it and using it and digging the hole deeper and deeper and deeper because they just want to make money. That's what they like to do. But you don't have to buy it, and it's your choice. And I don't think they'll be gone entirely. I just think that they'll, when the Switch eventually isn't in stores anymore, you'll just have to pay $70 upright. No $60 option for lower graphics, just $70 or no game at all. Man, oh man, after seeing this hand in 4K, I can tell you, it looks the same as it did in 1080p.